Preparing to fly out of Louisiana. We'll see what state we end up in tonight. Welcome to Soar America. Eric, our pilot, has challenged himself to fly all the way across the country from the west coast to the east coast in his sailplane in a series of connected flights. His wife Julie and I are working as his crew. Join us as we soar, drive, and camp across America. So 3 days in a row and another new state. We made it to Arkansas. Looks like Eric landed in McGee, Arkansas. One of the things I always wondered about was when we got to a new airport, would it ever be locked where we actually couldn't get to you? So we pull into this one, we come to a locked gate, and this truck pulls up behind us out of nowhere. Had you called him?
Nope. But he saw me land apparently.
Ah, okay.
I saw him drive by as I was pushing the glider off. But
And
yeah, apparently they keep that locked with a padlock or combination lock or something. And he doesn't know the combination or have the key, whichever it is. So
but he was able to route us around.
Yeah.
And get us here to get you.
On the web, though, you can find airport manager phone numbers, and that's what I did yesterday. I had called the manager and found the code. As it turns out, the local pilot drove up before he got there and told me the code also. But, yeah.
Okay.
One of these days, we may end up somewhere with a locked gate and can't figure out how to get through.
Okay.
Haven't yet, but it could happen.
So how was it today?
It was not too bad. The thermals were still narrow, narrower than usual, but I guess I was prepped for that by yesterday. There were nice cumulus clouds, but they never got very high. I think the highest I got was 5,100. Most of the time I couldn't get above 47, 48, which is high enough, but it was a little bit of a tight squeeze in places to make the jump to the next airport. The biggest challenge was this high thin white stuff, the cirrus or whatever layers, and at times it would move in, shade an area, and there'd just be a big blue area down low, no cumulus, and that stuff shifts around pretty quickly. So the sky changed a lot. I think I had a good route going this way, and in a few miles it all turns blue. So I ran from that stuff all day long, zigzagged all over the place to keep going somewhat east.
And all the way to the east side of Arkansas today.
I peeked over into the Mississippi River. I don't think I quite crossed it, but I was right there. It was just too late. The day had died, the sun was too low, needed another 1,000 feet or so, and just didn't have it.
Good day though. Do you know how many miles?
126 miles. Now, not all of that is distance made good because it was to the northeast, so maybe 80 miles closer to the Atlantic Ocean. I don't know, something like that.
Very nice.
That puts us a little over the 2/3 way mark.
All right. We're seeing the Atlantic.
I intend to.
Alas, no hangar space tonight. One of the things about your travel being so dependent on the weather is everything is up in the air. So yesterday morning, Eric said, I think tomorrow will be another good day to fly, which would be 4 days in a row that we would fly. We haven't done that before. We were all getting tired, but we want to take advantage of every day that's good. So we were kind of gearing ourselves up for, okay, we're going to fly. And then last night he said, I don't think it's going to be good to fly. So we're thinking, okay, we get probably a couple days off. We'll do laundry, grocery shopping, all of that. Well, then later last night, Eric looks at the forecast again and says, maybe we'll fly. There's about a 25% chance. So we go to bed last night thinking we're not sure. We may fly, we may not. Get up this morning, Eric says, I think it's going to be okay to fly, but it's up to you whether you want to or not. Well, we want to fly every day that's good, because it is looking like there'll be 2 or 3 days after this that we won't be able to fly. So taking advantage of every good day we have, we are at the airport in McGee, Arkansas, and hoping to make a good day of it today. 4 days in a row. I really don't think anybody will be rested enough to do 5. So tomorrow will be a rest day. And we'll see how it goes today. This is a small town airport, but it has a crop dusting company running out of it, so we're having to fit in between the crop dusting planes to get going today. Here we are at the McGee Airport. Eric had a good launch. He is off and going, and we just found out
he has crossed the Mississippi.
Woo! Major milestone. It's always a major milestone whenever we get to a new state, but this is a big one.
It is a big one.
We're going over the Mississippi today. Tonight's landing spot was Indianola, Mississippi. So fun that Eric crossed the Mississippi. We enjoyed driving across it, such a good milestone. And the nice people here had a hangar they're letting us store the glider in for tonight. So we made it to our campsite in Indianola, Mississippi. The first thing we do when we get in is plug up to electricity so we can get the air conditioning going. And then the girls get out. And then it's time to get dinner, because it's usually pretty late. We are 4 days in a row of flying and over a week since we got groceries, so tonight it's eggs and bacon. That's about all I have left for dinner. For our run this morning, Julie and I are going to search for guitars around Indianola, Mississippi. So because this is the birthplace of B.B. King, they really honor the blues. And these guitars are so neat. This one is outside a petroleum company. and it says on the side, "Fuel the Blues." So all of the guitars are themed around the company that they're in front of. So we were able to talk to one of the locals here at the airport and find out what the deal is about the guitars downtown. But what he told us is that almost every city here in the Delta has something they're famous for, and they'll do murals or something to celebrate that. So there's a town south of here, I think, that has catfish. That's their big thing. And so here they do the guitars in honor of B.B. King. It's something that local artists paint, and then the city pays for, and they put them up around the city. This guitar is in front of the Lions Club. So it has a lion and the Lions Club logo on it. It says "We Serve" on the bottom. Oh, you gotta get the back, Julie. This one has B.B. King on the back. Some really talented artists did these. This is the B.B. King Museum here in Indianola, Mississippi. It is only open, at least right now, it's only open Thursday through Saturday. We flew in on Tuesday. It's Thursday now, but I think we're gonna fly out before it opens. So I don't think we're gonna have a chance to see it. But it does look like a really neat museum. Wonder if that's a replica of Lucille. Oh, it does say Lucille on there, so that's a replica of his guitar. That's the statue here. And I think this is supposed to be the house he was born in, and then his grave is also here. A cotton gin where he worked. Okay. Prepping today to fly out of Indianola. And again, we're at an airport that has a lot of crop dusters, so we'll be trying to get in between them. Studies all the soaring forecasts, but nothing beats just looking up in the sky. What you seeing, Eric?
Fewer clouds than I thought, and I'd rather there be a good many of them directly upwind of the airport, that way, and that's where it's blue right now. So I have to wait a little bit to see if it fills up.
So we found Eric, but he's behind a fence.
It finally happened.
We just talked about this.
Right.
I think because we just talked about it, maybe we got jinxed.
Yeah. Well, he's called about 4 people, including the police department. Somebody's got to have access to a public airport, so.
Okay.
But we're trying to break the code now. Or find a manual override.
We just don't want to end up breaking any laws here. Imprisonment for 20 years. So Eric, how did you come up with the code for the gate?
There was a sign on the inside of the gate that said, to open gate, use
Nice.
They'll often have stuff like that, little secret code that all the pilots will understand.
All right, so we were able to get in, and now we get to take the plane apart.
Yep.
It is Friday morning in Ackerman, Mississippi, and we are prepping for a self-launch again today, hoping to make it into Alabama possibly. At some of these smaller airports, we tow the plane directly onto the runway. This one really didn't have much of a taxiway, so drove along the runway to get it into position. The sky is not looking great, so not wonderful conditions today. Looks like could be a short flight, but we know Eric will get everything out of it that he can. Eric landed at the Lowndes County Regional Airport in Columbus, Mississippi, and got us hangar space again. Yep, we saw a sign on our way in that said the Alabama state line is 12 miles away.
And I was probably 6 or so miles east of here at one point. Just couldn't find enough altitude to make the next airport, so I had to come back. High cloud moved over, shaded everything, thermals all got poor, put me on the ground.
But you made it safely, and we are farther east.
And in a decent sized town, should have a good RV park selection, hopefully.
All right, only about a 45 or 50 mile flight today, but we're making progress. We're always excited any day we get to fly. I'm sorry that Eric didn't have a very long flight today, but since we got set up early, it means there's time tonight to have s'mores. So I think we have learned the secret to a magical s'more, and that is Reese's Peanut Butter Cups Thins as the chocolate piece. That is a magical s'more.
It's pretty good.
Bit of a cloudy sky today, but there are glimpses of blue coming through. So we're prepping in the hopes that there'll be enough good sky out there to fly. So the sky is looking a lot better than when we first came out here. So it looks like it's about time to launch from here in Columbus, Mississippi. It really is amazing how quickly the sky changes. We're trying to pick just the right moment to take off. Off he goes into the clouds. Coleman, Alabama.
Coleman, Alabama. It's a little less than an hour from where we live. And I have a lot of family here. My mom lives about 2 miles that way as the crow flies. So she and my stepdad were here just after I landed. My little sister lives 10 miles that way as the crow flies, and the stepbrother lives somewhere in that direction, maybe 5 miles. So a lot of family around here.
Yeah, that was.
Close to home.
It was funny when we got your text that you were going to Coleman. We were like, he's going home.
The weather forced me this way. There was rain to the right, which would have been the southeast, rain to the left, or towering clouds, and that's basically had this channel to the northeast. It was really my only option. So.
But you got a lot further than you expected today.
I made 103 miles, but a big part of that is because I went straight downwind. Had I had to fight the crosswind and go the direction, closest to the ocean, I wouldn't have made that distance. It would have been slower.
But I remember before you took off, you said if you made it to the first airport, that would be your biggest accomplishment of the trip. Was it that bad? Was it that hard?
It was rough. It was hard. It was high stress type of flying. I got 3,300 feet above the ground once, and I don't think I ever, besides that, got even higher than 3,000 feet above the ground. Spent most of the flight probably 2,000 to 2,500 feet above the ground. That's just way too low for comfort. Almost sank out twice, got down to 1,300 feet above the ground once, and then got a little below 1,000 above the ground once.
Eric landed tonight in Coleman, Alabama, and right as we pulled in, there were some skydivers coming in, so it was kind of fun to have a little entertainment as we came in. So tonight we get to stay at Eric's sister's place. It's beautiful here. She has hookups for us and a nice place for us to stay. We may be here a couple of days, so we'll just see what the weather does, but it is gorgeous out here tonight. And so we finished the 3rd week back after our break in north central Alabama. Eric's family was wonderful to us, providing a place to stay, food, even bringing in donuts for us one morning. His mom gave us fresh vegetables out of the garden. It was a really nice place to spend a few days waiting on the weather yet again. The break was welcome. We had flown 7 out of the last 8 days. So we really did need a break. But we're excited to get back on the road and in the air to finish the last 360 miles we need to make it to the Atlantic Ocean.